Thinking that digital sketching is less natural feeling compared to traditional pen or pencil on paper is very common, especially since most people will start learning traditional art before taking up digital. But even though drawing on a screen or tablet can't perfectly replicate the traditional feeling, there's a lot of perks that come with drawing digitally, and becoming more comfortable with it is something you can learn. You have a lot of options for what kind of brush to use, and everyone will like something different, so try a wide variety to find what feels best for you and matches your intended style. There are many that mimic a specific kind of pen or pencil if that's what you like, and if your program allows, you can create and customize your own. I like to use this brush for loose sketching and this one for more precise line detail. When editing brushes for drawing, how the opacity and thickness changes with the pressure you apply is going to make a big difference in how it feels to draw with, so make sure to adjust that to whatever you like most if you are able. What brush or brushes you settle on don't need to be very complex, and even something simple like a hard round brush can be all that you need for a certain style and feel. I like that I can start with very loose, light, thick, and gestural lines, and then add a finer, cleaner, more detailed sketch on top. Using 2 layers for this is useful if you want to be able to draw, erase, or change the opacity of either layer without affecting the other. I will change the size of my brush a lot as I work on my rough sketch, and using keyboard shortcuts for things like this means I don't have to pause drawing to do that. It's very easy to blame the difficulty you have on your tools, like having a cheap tablet or something like that, but I would say that unless you're drawing with your finger on your phone, it's much more likely that you just need more time to get used to working with what you have. I've been surprised on multiple occasions by seeing the setup of really good artists, and instead of being really fancy, it's just a screenless tablet plugged into a laptop. Having a really nice setup doesn't hurt, but you can still manage just fine with less and aren't at all significantly disadvantaged if you can't afford expensive tools. For getting better at digital sketching and drawing in general, warm-up exercises like drawing circles, boxes, and connecting dots with straight lines will be very helpful. For digital drawing especially, I find that my lines wobble more when I press harder and/or draw slowly. When I apply very light pressure and move a bit quicker, my lines turn out much nicer. If you find yourself pressing your stylus firmly a lot, it may be a good idea to adjust your pressure sensitivity settings or whatever will prevent you from doing that. Very light pressure is all you should be using and need. Another thing to keep in mind is that you shouldn't feel like you are cheating if you use smoothing. It's a nice option for preventing your lines from wobbling, which can sometimes be more challenging to avoid on certain tablet surfaces. I like to have it on sometimes in a very small amount, and I think the slight drag feel that this creates can feel a bit more like dragging a pencil over paper. Do keep in mind though, if you really crank it up and rely on it all the time, I wrote confident, clean, and accurate lines. Let me just fix that really quick. It could become a crutch that prevents you from learning to draw confident, clean, and accurate lines naturally. I think I mentioned this in my lasso tool video, but being able to select areas of a sketch and transform or duplicate them is maybe the greatest perk that digital has. Making multiple similar variations of a design, or rotating and resizing part of a sketch instead of erasing and redrawing, is something you can do easily and really take advantage of. Liquify is also something that many programs have, and that lets you easily make adjustments to what you've drawn in a way that you wouldn't be able to with paper. Some people find working with shapes is easier than working with lines, for which the lasso is useful again, especially if you have an automatic fill option for it. Adding an outline to your shapes is a neat effect, which in Photoshop you can do by double-clicking on your layer, checking stroke, and then adjusting the color and thickness. Now this outline will be added to your shapes as you put them down. Since there are good things about both digital and traditional drawing, I recommend doing both and not forcing yourself into just one or the other. I don't think I know any digital artist who doesn't also have a traditional sketchbook they use on occasion. I have this video about making brushes, so you could check that one out next if you're wanting to make your own drawing brushes. Thanks for watching!